Check, check. How does that work? Hold on. One sec. Sound coming. There we go. Okay, yeah, there's always like a 30-second delay. So, all right, good. Woohoo, we have sound. That's a good thing. Every time there's like some weird thing I got to do to get sound. So where was I? I'm going to re-say all that because there was no sound and now there's sound. All right. What's up, everyone? My name is Brandon Turner, and today we're going to be hanging out with Chewbacca over here, talking about how a newbie can get started building wealth through real estate investing. This is something I'm very, very passionate about because I remember what it was like to get started. I remember how like unsure I was of everything, and there's so much out there. There's so much out there to learn, right? And so like a lot of newbies, they just never get started. They're like learning, and they never buy anything. And so today I am talking about like how a newbie can get started. In fact, I'm going to give you guys a 6-step process that if you just follow this simple process, you guys are going to get started just fine. Cool. All right. So I'm going to actually go over to, I want to show you guys before I even get started talking about how newbies can get started. I want to show you something really, really cool that I found today over on the BiggerPockets forums. Now, when I do that, John said, greetings from Wisconsin, where we're already 5 beers ahead of you. Go Minnesota Vikings. Woo. All right. Anyway, April, what's up from Cali? Erica said, hello, everyone. What's up? Chris said, nice poster in the background. Cool. All right. So I could give a bunch of greetings to people. Hello from Kuala Lumpur. I don't know if I said that right. I probably didn't. Stephanie from Dallas. What's up? All right. I want to show you guys something I found on the forum. So let me flash over there. Every time I switch between my face and like my computer screen, it loses like sound for like 10 seconds. I don't know why. So just hang with me. I really want to show this thing off. So hold on one second. Let's see. Everybody, am I back live again? Is everybody there? Let me know as soon as you can hear me again and I can see my screen. It should say close my first family, the numbers and how I got there. I want to show you guys this. It's just a really cool little story. So this is somebody who's brand new. They wrote this. All right. They wrote, after years of interest in real estate, I found BiggerPockets in February of this year. What are we today? We're in June 21st today, if you're watching this live. And today I closed on my first 4-family rental property. Here are the numbers and some photos. So if you guys want to go check this out later, don't distract yourself right now reading this whole thread because there's a lot of cool stuff in here. But she basically walks through her first deal, this 4-plex that she bought. And then she talks about how she did that. So like, first of all, she listened to the BiggerPockets podcast. How many of you guys listen to the podcast? If you guys listen to the BiggerPockets podcast, just say I do, or podcast listener, or Chewbacca, or write something like that in the chat area so I can see who's all listening to the podcast. Anyway, she listened to the podcast, which is awesome. Networking, tons of networking she said she did. She did a lot of math. She ran numbers using the BP calculators. And by the way, later on in today's webinar, we're going to actually run the numbers on a real life deal that I'm looking, like in my area. We're going to look at a deal together and we're going to decide what's a good price to pay for it. Does that sound fun? This helps out people tremendously when I do this. So I really like doing it. And then lastly, ignoring the knots in my stomach and jumping in. It's all about taking action. So again, this is a newbie who just a few months ago was just found BiggerPockets and already closed on her first deal. I love this. So congratulations, Megan. If you're watching this right now, you're awesome. And if you guys want to be more like Megan, this webinar is for you. I'm going to teach you guys how to go from nothing or maybe 1 or 2 deals up to maybe, whatever it is you want to get to. So with that, I'm going to turn back on my face real quick. Actually, I'm just going to go straight over here. For a couple people, Brady said, hello, Brady from Des Moines, Iowa. What's up, Brady? Rich said, podcast ranger. Ooh, I like that. You're a podcast ranger. Jason said, please do a BRRRR calculation. Ooh, that's a good idea, Jason. I will try to do one later, so hang tight for that. Am I back? I know I left for a second there. Am I back? Tiffany said, hello from Portland, Oregon. What's up, Portland? I'm over in Grays Harbor, Washington. I'm like 2 hours from you. Cool. All right, you guys, let's get into this thing. How a newbie can start building wealth through real estate. First of all, welcome. You guys rock. Thank you so much for being a part of today's webinar. I'm super pumped about this stuff. I hope you guys are as well. We're going to have a lot of fun today. And when I do a webinar, I don't want to just like teach something for a while and have you guys walk away from this thing going, yeah, that was kind of cool. I want you guys to come to this webinar and then leave going, OMG, my life has changed forever. Like that's what I want, is every single person here, your life changed forever. This information is a life changing. Had I learned what I'm about to teach you guys when I got started, I would be so much further along than what I am today. Tom said, no, Brandon, you rock. No, Tom from LA, you rock. All right. With that, some people said they lost sound. Has everybody else got me still? Are we still got sound, video? Well, you can't see my face, but it says welcome. All right, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to pretend that everything's working fine. I do have a worksheet for today's webinar. It's called How a Newbie Can Start Building Wealth Through Real Estate, the worksheet. Weird, right? Same title as today's webinar. Because I made this just for today's webinar, because I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer that if you take notes, you're going to remember and apply the things you learn. So I actually put together worksheets for every webinar that I do to help you take the best notes possible. I actually learned that from like a pastor of a church. I went to a church once where the pastor handed out notes, and like I still remember like what they talk about whenever a pastor gives me notes, I remember. So like the same thing, I just figured this would be kind of a cool way to do it. So take some notes. You'll remember the stuff. You go to biggerpockets.com/621 worksheet. You can download today's worksheet. Again, biggerpockets.com/621 worksheet. Eric said, amen. Amen. Hallelujah. All right. What are we going to be talking about today? Today's agenda, basically, here's our outline. First of all, I'm going to give you guys the 3 rules of Bigger Pockets webinars. Listen close to these, because if you don't agree to them, then I'm going to stick a pack of wild dogs on you. Number 2, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am and why I'm kind of talking about this stuff today, and a little bit about Bigger Pockets. That'll be pretty quick because I want to get into the meat of this webinar. And today's meat is about the 6 steps to getting started. I'm going to go through step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And step 6 is buy the property and manage it correctly. I'll give you that ahead of time. Yeah, got to know the 6 steps. Then I'm going to go into the best and somewhere in the middle of that, I should say. I'm going to talk about the best and worst niches and strategies for investing in real estate. What are the good strategies and what should you be careful of and watch out for? You'll see. Then we're going to talk about a few common newbie mistakes. If you want to avoid the newbie mistakes, pay attention for that. I'm going to give you guys some tools to help you get started. I'm going to actually walk you through a real life, live, on the air today analysis of a deal that I'm going to find with you. We're going to pick it together. We're going to analyze it together, and we're going to decide how much I should pay for it, how much I should make an offer for. That should give you guys a ton of confidence going forward. And then we're going to end this thing with some Q&A. Does that sound good? We're going to end with some question and answer. So basically, to sum up, in this webinar, I'm going to show you the exact 6-step process that you need to achieve financial freedom through real estate, whether you're looking for your first deal or your 100th deal. Does that sound good? If you think that sounds good, do me a favor. Say, let's do it, right? Let's do it in the chat area. This is a 3-dimensional webinar today. I want you guys interacting with me. So say, let's do it in there, and let's keep going. So special gifts. Just for showing up today, I want to provide some massive value up front. Massive value up front. In case you guys are like, Brandon sucks, I'm leaving this webinar right now because he's stupid. I want to make sure you guys, even if you're like that, you got some massive value out of today's webinar. So go ahead and write this URL down. Write down this link is going to be good forever. You don't have to download it right now because it'll just distract you. But this is a guide that I wrote called The Top 20 Real Estate Books Every Investor Should Read. You can get it by going to biggerpockets.com/books. And it's just a free guide that walks you through all of my favorite real estate books, because there are so many out there. How do you know what to read? This is going to tell you all my favorite. There's 20 of them in there. You need to read every one of these, at least at some point in the next year. So download that at biggerpockets.com/books, but don't read it right now. Just distract yourself. Now, I've got a couple other special gifts to give you, door prizes, if you will, but I'm going to give you them a little bit later in today's webinar. This is kind of a treat. If you hang around till towards the end, I'll give it to you before Q&A. Hang around towards the end. I'm going to give you the entire slide deck from today's webinar, every slide we're about to go through, and I'm going to give you something that people really, really like a lot. It's called Bigger Pockets presents 7 years to 7-figure wealth, a roadmap to earning your first $1 million by investing in small multifamily properties. Now, what this is, it's a sort of like a story of like, if you do this in year 1, this in year 2, this in year 3, this in year 4, this in year 5, this in year 6, this in year 7, you can build $1 million in net worth using a strategy that I call cash flow recycling. It is incredibly powerful. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to give you guys that link a little bit later. Now, moving on. So how can real estate help you build wealth? I want to cover this before we go any further, because if you're brand new to real estate, a lot of people just think of this as a get rich quick thing, or I don't really understand how real estate helps you build wealth. So now we're getting into the real meat of this thing. How does it actually help you build wealth? There are 4 primary strategies. Go ahead and jot this down on your paper or somewhere on your forehead, or tattoo it in your arm. These are the 4 things that help you build wealth through real estate. Cash flow, which means extra money every month. So every month you can make extra money in your bank account, right? Cash flow is amazing. Cash flow can help you quit your job, travel the world, do lots of really cool things. Cash flow is what I invest primarily for. Secondly, there's equity. So if you basically, the value of a property goes up, or you pay the value of the property goes up, you have wealth, you have equity. For example, I own a house right now that's worth $50,000. I owe $0 on it. So I have $50,000 in equity. I have an apartment complex that I owe $650,000 on it, and it's worth $1 million. So I have $350,000 in equity. Kind of cool, right? Tax benefits. There are tremendous amount of tax benefits when you're invested in real estate. Like, who do you guys think pays more taxes? John, who works, for a nice company, and he brings home $100,000 a year in income, and he works as a W-2 employee, and he brings home $100,000. And then there's Bill, who makes $100,000 in cash flow off his rental properties, or $100,000 from flipping houses, or $100,000 from something in real estate. Who do you think makes more money, really? That's right. The investor makes way more money because they keep way more. It's pretty awesome. And fourth, the loan pay down. When you have a mortgage on a property and over time your tenants pay it down every month, basically you just get free money. I mean, over time, you could get no cash flow, you could get no equity, your property may never climb in value, you might get no tax benefits, but if at nothing else, if you broke even on the other 3 things, well, at least over the course of the next 15 years or 30 years, whatever mortgage you get, you'll be paying off that property, and you'll have a tremendous amount of wealth at the end of your life, or at least the end of when the loan gets paid down. So I love real estate for that. But listen, those are the technical things you get when you invest in real estate. But nobody grows up going, what I really want to do when I grow up? What would sound like a great life? I want to have tax benefits. No, we don't care about that, right? Deep down, what do our hearts want? Why do we struggle through real estate? And it is a struggle. It is a battle. It is a war. Why do we do it? We want things like this. We want the things money can buy. A great life. Ulu said that. I love that. Freedom to travel. The freedom to watch your kids grow up. The freedom to fire your boss. Next time your boss is like, I need your TPS reports on my desk by 3:00 or else you're fired. Be like, yeah, you know what? You're fired. And then walk out the door, right? You get the freedom to do that. That's why we invest in real estate. And you may have your own reason, right? You may have a lot of things, but it all kind of comes down to time and freedom. That's what we want. But here's the problem with that. Most newbies never buy a single property. Most newbies never buy a single property. Now let that sink in for a second. There are currently, let's find out, in this room, there are 769 people here right now. 769 people here right now. How many of the people here are going to buy a property? I would guess no more than 50 or 100 will ever buy themselves an investment property. Why is that? Well, that's what we're talking about today, because it takes hard work. There's 2 reasons primarily that I see. First of all, a lot of newbies get stuck driving through the fog. They get stuck driving through the fog. In other words, they can't figure out what comes next, so they pull over to the side of the road, they sit down on the carpet, they sit down on the grass, and they say, I quit. And they never do it because they can't figure out the next step. Other people get into it, and they get lost in the maze. I can't figure out how to find a deal. I don't know where the money's at. I'm lost in this thing. And they give up, and they never get their deal. So I want to help you guys drive through the fog and figure out how to get out of the race, out of the rat race, as they call it, or out of the maze, right? I want to help you guys with that. Now, this right here is me and my beautiful wife, Heather. This is 10 years ago. Wow, we're just kids back then. We were 21 years old when I bought my first property. That is my very first property I ever bought. And this thing got me into real estate. I didn't even know anything about real estate. I was in a similar position to a lot of you. I knew nothing about real estate. All I knew was that it had the potential of changing my life, but I didn't even know how. I just knew that people got rich through real estate. People found freedom through real estate. This is my wife and I today. Well, this is like a year ago we took this picture in front of our 24-unit apartment complex. Today we have a little over 50 units. Yeah, that hair is on point. Yeah, I had awesome hair back then, didn't I? Anyway, this is us today. We have a little over 50 units. When I was 27 years old, I crossed that threshold of financial freedom. In other words, I acquired enough rentals by the time I was 27 to fire my boss, to quit my job, to travel the world. We went and took 3 weeks in Europe when we did it. It's kind of a celebratory thing, and be able to travel. And today, I got a little girl named Rosie. I wish I had a picture of her. I'd show you, but I didn't put it in the slideshow. But Rosie is the cutest girl on the planet. The cutest girl on the planet. And I'm able to spend so much time with her. Like, we hang out like hours and hours and hours and hours every single day. I'm there for her first everything. We travel a ton because we have the financial freedom to do this. And that's what I want to help you guys with. Like, that's my goal today. So the 3 rules of Bigger Pockets webinars. Let's move on to that real quick. You must commit to taking action within 24 hours. You've got to commit to taking action within 24 hours. Because this is what, there's this thing called like the law of diminishing intent. It basically says the longer you wait after learning something new, the less chance you'll ever do it. It's like a real, law of nature. The longer you wait to take action after learning something new, the less chance you'll ever do it. So I want you guys to take something you learned today and apply it to your life in the next 24 hours. Deal? Understand this. Jim Rohn, this is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. Jim Rohn said this, he's a great speaker. Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. In other words, if you want your life to change, if you want that financial freedom, you guys got to work towards it. You got to do some work. All right. Rule number 2, I want to encourage you guys to focus. I've been on webinars before. I understand how easy it is to lose focus. And especially when we're talking for like an hour, like, it's easy to lose focus. So I want to encourage you guys, turn off your phone, put your kids in the closet, lock the door. They're fine. Throw some cheese in there. Like, shut off all like the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram and the Snapchatting and all that you're doing. Forget it for a minute. If you believe that real estate has the power to change your life and you want it desperately, put your cell phone where your mouth is, right? Like, focus in for the next next hour, and then be involved. When I ask a question, I want to encourage you guys, Tinder. Yeah, turn off your Tinder and your Grindr and all that, and focus in. All right, and third, be involved in this stuff. Like, when I talk to you guys, I want to hear your responses. I want to get to know you guys and know what your concerns are, what your questions are. So jump into the chat area. I see it. All right. A little bit about Bigger Pockets. I'll do this real quick. We are the real estate investing social network, marketplace, and information hub. Everything you'd ever want to know about real estate, you can find on Bigger Pockets. It saved my life. Bigger Pockets introduced me to successful real estate investing. It saved me from doing a lot of bad deals. And today I'm honored to be part of the Bigger Pockets team. We've got blogs, forums, member blogs, podcasts, webinars just like this, webinar replays. If you're a Bigger Pockets Pro member, you can watch any of the 40 or 50 hours of webinar replays we've got recorded. We've got videos on YouTube. We've got books out there. We got real world meetups, and 99% of everything you find in Bigger Pockets is free. We have some amazing tools with our pro membership, which costs you like basically nothing. Like, it's super, super cheap compared to what you get. But most of Bigger Pockets is reasonably priced at free. Like, seriously, like, it's like the coolest site. A little bit about me. My name is Brandon Turner. I told you guys my story earlier. I'm the co-host of the Bigger Pockets podcast. I'm an active real estate investor. In fact, I'm trying to buy deals. I'm at 53 units right now. I just closed on one last week. I'm doing a BRRRR deal right now, which is where I buy it, fix it up, rent it out, refinance it, and repeat it, basically fixing up to rent. And I'm hoping to get to 100 units by the end of this year, and I will get to 100 units by the end of this year. I'm not just hoping. I'm committed to doing it. I'm also the author of several books, including the book on investing in real estate with no and low money down, the book on rental property investing, and the co-author, along with my wife, of the book on managing rental properties. My wife's the best landlord on planet Earth. And a random fact about myself, I once dunked a basketball one time in my life, and it's because I had a mullet. That's right. I grew my hair into a massive mullet. I dyed it black. I grew a Fu Manchu. I dunked a basketball, and I asked out the love of my life, this lady right here, Heather Turner, and all in the same week. That was the most epic week of a man's life. Oh, and I got my first kiss that same week with her. I kissed her, and it was amazing. All right. And if you want to follow me, I'm a huge Instagram guy. So follow me on Instagram at Beardy Brandon, or on Twitter at Brandon at BP. I share a lot of my deals and stuff going on in my life there. All right, now how do you get started? How do you get started investing in real estate? Let's talk about that. Number one, this is the most tangible step, but is the most important step of all 6 that we're going to talk about. So number one is commitment. Now, why do I start with that? Because it's the most important step. Everybody says they're committed to things, but everybody's a liar, right? I'm a liar. You're a liar when it comes to certain things. We say we're committed to things, but then at the end of the day, we're really not. For example, I'm committed to losing 20 pounds. Am I really committed, or do I just want it? There is a huge, if you're a president, huge difference between wanting something and being committed to something. There's a huge difference between that. Are you committed, or do you just want something? If you just want it, you will never get it. But if you are committed, you will. Perfect example, like I just said. Let's say you want 6-pack. I just took this picture of myself just before we started today. I'm just kidding. This is not me. But people say they want a 6-pack. I'll turn the page in case somebody walks in the room on you. Because, people would be like, what is he doing on the computer over there? Here's the deal, though. People want a 6-pack. They're not committed to it, right? If your mom said, hey, I'm committed to losing 20 pounds and getting a 6-pack, and you went to your mom's house and she's watching Dancing with the Stars while eating a bowl of ice cream on the couch, would you assume she's committed? Would you? No, of course not, right? I mean, maybe you'd want to commit her to a hospital, but would you assume she's committed to losing that weight? Of course not, because commitment is defined by the action that you take. Nothing more, nothing less. Commitment's defined by the action you take. If you're taking the right action and you're doing it, then you're committed to it, right? So if I wanted to get this sexy 6-pack right here, I would have to cut my calories and work out. I'd have to have a plan for doing that. I'd be totally committed. So ask yourself, honestly, you guys, right now, close your eyes. I know we're going to get a little weird here. Close your eyes and just think, are you truly committed? And maybe you're not. Maybe by the end of today's webinar, you will be. But are you truly committed? Abraham Lincoln once said, commitment, I'm not going to read the whole quote, but it says, commitment is what transforms a promise into reality. It is the words that speak boldly of your intentions and the actions which speak louder than words. It's making time when there is none, coming through time after time after time, year after year. It's the stuff character is made out of. What I love about that is, especially when he says it's the action which speaks louder than words. It's not about saying committed. It's not about wanting something. It's about taking action towards that. So I want you guys actually in the chat room right now, answer this question. I have a series of questions. I'm going to ask you all these. I want every single person watching this webinar right now, every single one. How many are here right now? There are 806 people here right now. I want 806 responses. Are you committed to investing your time, any extra time you can afford, into real estate? Not everyone's going to say yes, and that's fine. But are you committed to investing your time, even if it's 5 minutes a day? I'm going to actually show you guys later how you can invest in real estate with 10 minutes a day. Number 2, are you committed to investing your skills in real estate? Are you committed to investing your skills? Meaning the things that you're good at. 3rd, are you committed to invest in your mind? Instead of listening to mundane music all day long, will you start listening to some podcasts or audiobooks maybe? Are you going to start reading a little more? Will you learn how to better your business at every step of the process? That's what it takes. Are you committed to invest in your money? Oh, I don't know about that, Brandon. I don't know if I can say yes. Oh, all those yeses slow down a little here, don't they? Because people are like, oh, I'm afraid I don't have any money. I don't want to spend my last dollar, right? Well, understand this. Even if you don't have money today, are you committed to investing your money in the future, to recycling the money that you make, to living on a budget potentially if you need to save more money towards real estate, right? To put towards it. Or are you committed to maybe earning more money so then you can invest that money? There's a lot of ways to do it. And the last question, are you committed or are you willing to do what it takes to find success? Understand that this is not get rich quick. This is hard work. Real estate investing is tough, but you can do it. I totally believe it. I know you can do it. I did it. Millions of people have done it. If you truly want it, you'll do it. And if not, you'll make excuses. All right, let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is you need to learn, in other words, gain education, and you need to plan. You need to make a plan. I kind of put those together because you're going to make a plan while you're learning. Now, I want to go through those niches and strategies. When you're trying to learn real estate, it's overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things to learn. And so people get overwhelmed. They get caught in the fog and they stop. So let's talk about that. How do you get through that? Well, here's what I recommend. Real estate at its most simple core is really about 2 things. niches and strategies. In other words, niches are the different property types. You can invest in single family houses. You can invest in small multifamily. You can invest in apartments. You can invest in commercial. You can invest in notes, right? There's also strategies, or what do you do there? What do you do with those properties? So what do you do with those properties? Well, there's a few things. You can flip them. You can make, you could do rentals. You could do wholesaling, right? There's a lot of options that you have to decide what you want to do. So all your goal is to pick a niche. When you're getting started, guys, don't learn everything. Don't read every book in the world. Pick a niche. Pick a strategy. Draw a line. So maybe you want to do apartment complexes and you want to do rentals and apartments. You want to buy big apartments, or maybe you want to buy duplexes or triplexes or fourplexes, right? And you want to flip them. Great. Or maybe you want to flip single family houses, right? Just pick a niche, pick a strategy, and then read a few books on it, and you're going to be fine. You're going to have all the education you can get. So at its core, that's what you need to do. You don't need to learn it all. And then make a plan. Based on education, make a plan. So, hey, okay, I'm going to buy one house this year. Here's a very, very easy plan if you guys are just getting started. What if you bought one property this year? Just one. Let's do an example. Let's say you want to own rental properties. So let's say this year you buy one unit, just one unit, one house, right? And then next year you double that and you buy 2 units. Maybe you buy a duplex, or you buy 2 single family houses. Maybe then the year after you buy 4. The year after you buy 8. The year after you buy 16. The year after 32. The year after 64. By the end of like 6 years, you're going to have over 100 units. And if you do what I do, which I don't buy any property, unless it makes me at least $100 per month per unit in passive cash flow, meaning somebody else is managing it. And it's easy, and it's after setting aside money for everything that you need to save up money for, like vacancy and repairs. I want at least $100. So a duplex would have to be $200 a month. A fourplex would have to be at least $400 after paying everything, including the mortgage. So if you had 100 units making $100 a month, how much is that every month? 100 times 100, isn't that 10,000, right? So you could be within 6 years, if you just double every year, you could have 100 units generate over 100 units generating over $100,000 a year in cash flow passively, right? Like that's how simple real estate can be. Maybe that's your plan. Maybe that's not your plan, but maybe that is your plan. Remember, you don't need to learn it all. Just come up with a plan and work it. And to do a good plan, read a couple books on it. All right, number 3, you got to go shop for properties. Let's talk about how to find good properties. There are a lot of ways to find deals, a lot of them. For example, you could use the MLS, meaning find a real estate agent. You could use direct mail marketing. That's where you send out letters to motivated sellers, to people who might want to sell their properties. In fact, just today today and yesterday, I sent out 300 letters to hopefully motivated. I sent out 300 letters to mobile home park owners. I'm really trying to buy a mobile home park this year. By the way, Tiffany said, can't you only have 10 loans out at once? That is a myth. You can only have 10 Fannie Mae loans at a time. But there's a ton of ways around that, So don't get caught up in you can only have 4 loans or 10 loans. I have way more than that. Most investors have way more than that. Once you're at the point where you have that many, you're experienced enough to figure your way around it. Things like portfolio loans, commercial properties, like private money, hard money. There's so many ways at that point. So don't worry about the 10 thing. That's just a Fannie Mae law. Not even law, just a Fannie Mae rule. Don't worry about that. So the MLS, direct mail marketing, driving for dollars, eviction records. Go contact your local county, find out all the evictions that are happening in your county this month, and go and call all those landlords. How many of them do you think would want to sell? Probably a good portion of them, because they hate doing evictions, right? For sale by owner, Craigslist, online advertising, and just plain and simple hustle. And this isn't even all of them. There's also things like auction.com, or working with wholesalers, or networking with other investors. I bought a house a couple weeks ago just from another investor. He was doing 5 projects, didn't want all 5. So he gave me one of them. Great. That's the one I'm working on right now. So yeah. All right. So the point is, if you and again, you don't need to learn all these, guys. Understand, you don't need to learn all of these. Pick one. Oops, my mouse is going crazy. All right. Pick one. Oh, why does it keep doing that? I don't know. Anyway, pick one, MLS, direct mail, and learn about it. For example, write down this URL, write down this, guys. If you're interested in learning more about direct mail marketing, and you want to know more about that. In fact, last year I got a fourplex that today generates almost $1,000 a month in cash flow, and it's going to fund my daughter's entire college education. The entire college education. Anderson asked, what are we shopping for? The loan? No, I mean, we're shopping for properties. That's what we're doing. We're looking for properties. How do we find properties? These are all ways to find them. So, write down this URL. I was losing my train of thought. Go to www.biggerpocket. Don't do it now. Just write down the URL. www.biggerpockets.com/direct mail. That is a guide that I wrote called The Ultimate Guide to Direct Mail Marketing. And it's going to show you exactly how to do direct mail marketing. Write down another URL. Write down another one. www.biggerpockets.com/D as in dog, M as in mail, letter, Letter. By the way, Koya Prince said, how do you use other people's money to get started? We will talk about that in just a moment. Direct mail marketing got me my fourplex that is going to pay for my daughter's entire college education and give me $1,000 a month in cash flow. It can do the same thing for you if you want to try it. Driving for dollars can be a great way to find deals. Eviction records, again, all these things. The point is, pick one, go do some research, learn how to do it, and then take action on it. All right, step number 4. By the way, DM letter, that's the actual letter that I used to send to the people that got me my $1,000 a month fourplex. So anyway, check that out. Samantha asks, can you buy more than 3 properties to flip per year? Sure, of course. I know people that are flipping 100 houses a year. In fact, my buddy Nathan Brooks is flipping 100 houses a year right now. My buddy Kevin Carroll flipped 100 houses last year. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe your state has some requirement, like you have to have some kind of special license. I don't know, but yeah, you're fine. I mean, like, just, you should be fine. Just ask that question to somebody local in your market, but there's tons of people flipping lots of houses a year. All right, number 4, analyze. Because understand this is one of the most important things I can tell you guys today. If you don't have the right math going into a deal, you'll never get the right profit coming out of it. Take a screenshot of that, put it up on Twitter or Instagram or something, because this is so important. If you don't have the right math going into a deal, you'll never get the right profit coming out of it. This is what I love about real estate, actually. I love this about real estate, is that you can estimate your success before you ever buy it. Try doing that with Tesla stock, right? I mean, come on, like, you buy stocks, you're basically just hoping that it goes up at the same rate that it's been going up. When I buy real estate, I buy it knowing that I'm pretty sure, I mean, you can never know 100%, future things happen, but I can know with incredible accuracy what my future is going to look like, which means I can know when I'm going to get to my $1 million status. And I know, like, I can plan what my next 5 years might look like. And yeah, plans change. But with real estate, you can really get a good picture of what the future is going to look like. I love that. And yeah, I agree. There's nothing wrong with stocks. It's a different animal. Correct. Ari said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. But I love real estate so much more than stocks. It's like my jam. I love it. So we're going to analyze a real life deal together. Like I said, once we find the deal, we're going to analyze one, right? So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my screen share again. So you might lose me for like 10 seconds or something like that. A couple of people asked about financing if you don't have a lot of cash. Understand, guys, we're going to talk about financing after this. So step 5 is talking about finance, and specifically how to finance when you don't have a lot of money. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's go analyze a deal, because I know people always want to know about the finance thing. Let's analyze a deal. So you might lose me for like a second here while I switch screens, but we shouldn't. Hopefully you don't lose me entirely. If you do, go over to facebook.com/biggerpockets and we'll continue it on a Facebook Live, but we should be fine. Hold on. All right. Got me, hopefully. All right, so I'm going to keep going because I'm going to assume everybody got me back here. So we already looked at this earlier. This was just Megan who bought her first deal, learned about BiggerPockets in February, and I just got her first deal, which is awesome. But I want to show you guys this thing. So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to search in my market. I don't know your market, so I don't want to analyze a deal in your market right now because there's always little things you learn about your market. So start local. I think that's always a good idea. Start local, even if you live in an expensive market. Start local and work your way out from there. So let's go ahead and search for the town of Aberdeen, Washington. This is Aberdeen, Washington. Now, understand, our prices, every time I do this, Every time I do one of these webinars, people are like, your prices are so either cheap or high. We do have cheaper prices generally, but if you live in Detroit, my prices are crazy expensive. If you live in San Francisco, my prices are crazy cheap. So don't worry too much about it. It's just a range. But generally my area is a little bit cheaper, but it works. Real estate works everywhere. So just don't get your undies in a bundle because these numbers look different. So in my area, prices typically go from $50,000 for a cheap, crappy piece of junk house all the way up to $1 million for a really, really nice one on the beach. Typically, though, most houses are between 100 and 250, and multifamily are anywhere between 50 and 100,000 per unit usually. But this here is a duplex right here. It looks like 2 units for 119,000. Should we analyze this deal? It just popped up, and I haven't not seen this on the market. Just came on the market. Duplexes. That's weird. Duplex on a quiet dead-end street. Each are 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Has washer dryer hookups. New mini split ductless heat pumps. That's good. Patio, shared fence backyards, and attached single car garages. All right, so this is the deal I would like to analyze. Let's look at some pictures. Oh yeah, I did see this deal before. They just dropped their price a bunch. This used to be like 140,000. All right, so is this a cool deal we can analyze together? And yes, it is cheap, but our rents are also cheap too. Like, yeah, New York City, you're going to pay $2 million for this, but your rents are going to be like $3,000 a month each. So to analyze this deal, we have a couple options. We can analyze by hand. It takes about half hour to analyze the deal by hand, and there's a high likelihood for making mistakes. You can analyze with a spreadsheet, and I used to do that, but I don't like doing that for a couple reasons. One, I get really unorganized with spreadsheets. And also, if I make one mistake in my spreadsheet, I can't tell that I made the mistake. And spreadsheets are very, very easy to change little formulas and get really messed up. So what I use today is a tool that we created at BiggerPockets. We basically took my spreadsheet and made it an online piece of software. It's really, really, really cool. I use this thing probably every single day. Maybe I take Sundays off, but I use it a lot. So if you go to biggerpockets.com/analysis, you can get to it, or you can get to the individual ones up here by going to, tools and click on tools. So we're going to analyze this deal together. I'm going to do just a straight rental property one, but later during the Q&A, we'll try to do a BRRRR one. So hang tight if you want to see the BRRRR calculation, which is basically when you buy a fixer upper and then you rent it out. But I want to do a straight rental on this one because this house doesn't need any work. It says that, it looks like it's pretty much good to go. So to do a report, it's very easy. And the beautiful part about these calculators is that it takes less than 5 minutes to analyze a deal. You don't believe me? Check this out. So I'm going to burn through this real quick. You might not understand everything that I'm talking about here, but before I get started analyzing, let me explain this. If you are confused at any point of this, you can go and try it for yourself. And if you hover over these little question marks next to each of these fields, it actually teaches you how to figure out the thing that goes in here. Does that make sense? So if I'm like, what is the annual property taxes? I don't know how to figure that out. Just hover over the question mark and you can figure it out, and they'll teach you how to do it. So let's go and analyze this together. I'm going to call this the Lindstrom Street Duplex in Aberdeen, just so I know what it is. The address was 612 West Lindstrom Street, Aberdeen, Washington. The annual property tax. Oh, I don't know what those are. I'm going to give up and go back to watching Dancing with the Stars. I think there's a new episode on tonight. Stop it. Don't do that. Instead, you're going to hover over the question mark. You're going to learn how to do it. You're going to take action and go do it. So check this out. I'm going to go to Google, and then I'm going to go to Grays Harbor County. And then, I guess I could have just gone to the county. I'm going to go find how much taxes are on this property. Here we go. Okay, so, and I've done this before, so I know where to find it. The first time you do it, you know what? You're going to have to look a little bit. Let's see if it comes up. Hey, there we go. Taxes were $1,586. All right, look at that. Amazing. So I'm just going to go ahead and round up to $1,600. I'm going to add a photo if I want to. Sure, why not? Why don't I add a photo in here? That's a nice photo. So I'm going to go ahead and, where's it at? Right here. I'm going to go ahead and upload a photo just to my choose file. Sales description, I can write whatever I want here, or I can just take whatever the agent put. I'm just going to use what they wrote because it's good enough. And that's it for page one. The beautiful part about these calculators, guys, is that it only takes 5 minutes to analyze a deal, but also it's just 3 pages. 1, 2, 3. So that's it for page one. Everyone feeling comfortable? Nod your head if you're feeling comfortable. Good? All right. So here we go. Next step. Page 2, purchase price. What are we going to buy this property for? What are we going to buy this property for? Well, why don't we start by running the numbers with what they're asking, 119.5. And then what's the after repair value? What's it worth when it's all fixed up? Well, if you don't know how to figure that out, hover over this, and there's even a link to an article about it. But because it's already fixed up, I'm just going to put the same amount. Now, closing costs, we're going to have some closing costs involved in this. So let's say maybe, I don't know, probably $3,000 in closing costs when I buy the property. And probably to fix the thing up, it's like it looks really nice, but there's always something. So I'm going to say $5,000 worth of maybe some paint and carpet inside. We can adjust that number once we look at the property in person, but right now we're just doing quick and dirty. Now, how are we going to fund the deal? We got to get a loan on it, right? So a lot of you are saying, I don't have any money. I'm going to go back to watching Dancing with the Stars tonight. I think Bob Saget's on it tonight. No, stop it. Stay with me and understand that even if you don't have the money, there's ways around that. But for now, let's just say we have 20% down and we're going to get a 5% loan. And we're going to amortize it over a 30-year mortgage. Page 3 is all about the rental information. So I'm going to say this is going to rent for probably each unit. What did they say they were? 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Those are going to rent for probably $595 a piece, or $550, and I'll make them pay their own water, sewer, garbage. All right. So electricity, I'm not going to pay that. They pay their own water, sewer, garbage here. Insurance, I got to pay that. It's probably going to be about $100 a month for insurance. And that's, if I have to do lawn care, that would be here, but I'm going to make them mow their own lawn. I'm not going to do it for them. Then we got our variable expenses. And this is one thing that people forget all the time when they're analyzing a deal by hand or with a spreadsheet. They forget to include things like vacancy, repairs and maintenance, CapEx, management fees. So I'm going to go ahead and I usually choose about 5% for vacancy. I'll probably choose, somewhere around 10%. Oh, by the way, sorry guys, $550 a month each side. So I'm going to actually add 2 units here. A is $550 and B is $550. All right. So we got repairs and maintenance. We'll say 5. I'm going to go a little more than that. I'm going to go 7% for that, 7% for that. And then property management, I'm going to go ahead and say 10% for that. I don't want to manage myself. I could if I want to, but I'm still going to analyze it. And then lastly, we have our future assumptions. What do we think this property is going to do? What do we think this stuff should do in the future? Well, I'm going to guess that income is going to climb by about 2% per year. Inflation's been 3%, so I'm going to say 2. Property value will probably climb about 2%. But my expenses will also go up about 2%. And lastly, we've got our sales expenses. When we sell the property someday, we got to pay a real estate agent and some other things. So I'm going to say 9%. All right. Oh, by the way, Corbin asked, what are these percentages for? This is based on the total up here, the rent. So per month, I'm going to pay 5% vacancy. I'm going to set aside $55 a month for, every other year the properties go vacant. So I got to make sure I save up for that. And repairs and maintenance, I got to save up for that. And some capital expenditures, I'll save up for that. CapEx is like a new roof every 20 years. But if you got a new roof every 20 years, you got to budget for that every month, right? Because otherwise it's going to wipe out your cash flow. And then that's it, really. And I hit calculate results. Now, before we go any further, I want to ask you guys a question. I'm going to pop a poll up on the screen. I'm going to pop a poll up. Would you buy this deal? Would you buy this deal? Yes or no way? So you have 2 options, yes or no way. Based on what we know so far, would you buy this deal? Now, here's the funny thing, guys. Most people do far less analyzing than what you and I just did in the last 5 minutes. Far less. And here's the funny thing. I'm ending the poll right now. 44% of people said yes. 51% of people said no. And 5% of people said don't click this because you guys are funny. But listen, we're basically split 50-50 on this deal. And that's what most people do to analyze the deal. This blows my mind every time I do this on a webinar and I ask people to vote. We have no idea because you do not know how good a deal is until you analyze it. You can't rely on gut. You can't rely on what your agent says. You can't rely on what your mom says. You can't rely on what your partner says. Nobody is going to do your math homework for you but you. If there's one thing you walk away from today's webinar with, one thing, remember that. No one is going to do your math homework for you. So let's go see what the results say. I'm going to go ahead and go back over here. Where are we at? Did we lose sound? Somebody said no sound. Hopefully we still have sound. All right. I'm going to hope that we do. All right. So let's go back over and look at this. Based on the numbers we just came up with, our income of $1,100, our expenses would be $1,065 a month, meaning our cash flow would be $34 a month. Well, that's not very good, right? Now, a lot of you are saying, well, what's good? I can tell you what I look for in a multifamily. You can write this down if you want. This is just my metrics. I look for a few things. Number one, I look for at least $100 per month, $100 per month per unit, which means this duplex would have to give me at least $200 a month in cash flow for me to want to buy this. Second thing I look for is at least a 12% cash on cash return. That's just my opinion. I want to see at least 12%. You might be okay with 8 or 10, but I want 12. Now, this is giving me a 1.3% return on investment and $35 a month in cash flow. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to turn the computer off. We're going to go and watch some TV and wait 30 years and retire on Social Security because the deal didn't work out, because I can't find any deals in my market. That's what we're going to do. You know why? Because that's what most people do. Let me be real with you guys. Most people do that. They look at real estate like a yes or no, but that's not what real estate is. Savvy real estate investors understand that real estate is not about yes or no. It's about how much. Every single deal, Leslie said she likes my humor. Thanks. That makes two people, you and my mom. So every deal has a number. I love that about real estate. Every property has a number. Your job as an investor is to do this: analyze deals, make offers. That's it. And if you just do those two things, you're going to be fine, right? You turn your I can't do it to how can I do it? Rob said your wife doesn't like my humor. Okay, my wife sometimes likes my humor. All right, so here's what we're going to do, guys. Check this out. In less than a minute, we're going to go figure out how much we can pay for this property. I go down, hit edit report. I skip ahead to page 2, and I'm going to change the purchase price to $99,000. That's it. And we're going to go find out, does this make sense at $99,000? Does it make sense? Now we're at $122 a month in cash flow and a 5% cash on cash return. Not good enough for this guy. All right, so let's try something else. What if we were to offer only $79,000 for this property? And what if instead we did, I don't know, how about we change our down payment to 25% down? Just throwing the idea out there. What happens? Let's find out. We calculate the results. And now I'm looking at a $229 a month in cash flow and a 9.93 cash on cash return. Well, now I hit my monthly cash flow. I'm a little short on cash return, but we can adjust that with just putting a little bit higher down payment if I wanted to. Let's say I put 30% down. Or should I do a lower down payment? I think I want to do a lower down payment. Let me go back and do a lower one because that's going to work it the wrong way. Hold on. Here we go. Next step. And we're going to do let's go back to 20%. We'll try that. Let's see where we're at. Oh, by the way, Anderson said you could manage it yourself. Look, we're really close here. We're at 10.5 and $208. I'll call that good enough for now and say, okay, so to me, this property would be worth about $79,000. Now, if I wanted to manage myself, and maybe you do, maybe your first property you want to manage yourself. Let's try that. Let's just see what happens. Maybe you're okay with that, and that's fine. I'm going to take out this. I'm going to do just 1% because, you still got to pay for like marketing every year or whatever, right? So I'm going to do 1%. And now we're looking at a 15% cash on cash return and $300 a month in cash flow. Well, now it definitely works, right? Interesting, right? So here's the funny thing, guys. This deal to me makes sense around $79,000. In reality, that's about what I would want to pay for this property. Now, are they going to say yes to me? They're asking $120. Are they going to say yes? You know what? I don't care. I don't care. This is a numbers game. And once you understand that, real estate becomes so simple. I'm going to make them an offer of $79,000 tomorrow. And if they say no, it's okay. You know what I'm going to do a month from now when the house is still sitting on the market? I'm going to make them another offer of guess how much? $79,000. And a month after that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make them another offer of $79,000. And in the meantime, I'm going to go find other deals. My job as an investor is to find deals, figure out how much to pay, and then pay that price. if I can. And if they just say no, it's okay. In fact, I fail 90% of the time. I get rejected 90% of the time. It's like high school prom all over again. Rejected left and right? But in high school, like let's go high school math, right? If you fail on 90% of your test questions in high school math, you are an idiot. You are a moron. You're held back. You're a loser, right? If you fail 90% of your offers in real estate, you know what that makes you? A millionaire. Let me say that again. If you fail 90% of the time in real estate, you're a millionaire. Why? Because it just means you have to offer 10 times for every one failure. So just make 10 offers a month. You can buy one property a month and you'll be a millionaire in no time. If you can consistently fail 90% of the time, that's great, right? The point is, like, that's all real estate is. The best investors in the world, this is what they're all doing, is this same funnel. You find deals, and there's lots of ways, we talked about that before. You analyze deals, you make offers, you get some accepted, right? And so, like, that's all you have to do. I don't know why people complicate real estate so much. And I don't know why nobody's teaching this stuff. Like, had somebody told me this process when I got started, I wouldn't have been floundering for 5 years. I don't want you guys to flounder for 5 years. I want you to get in there, start analyzing deals. In fact, if it takes less than 10 minutes to analyze a deal, how many deals could you analyze a week? Could you commit to analyzing just one deal every day or 5 deals a week? Could you commit to that? You already said earlier you were committed, right? You want that 6-pack of real estate. So could you commit to just 5 deals a week? If you were using software like this, and who cares where you get the deals from? Like, there's lots of sources. Could you commit to that? I think you could. So, like, that's all. Now, of course, people are saying, well, how do I finance it? I don't have any money. All right, let's go back to that. So I'm going to switch over. So, oh, by the way, John said it takes much longer than 10 minutes because you're guessing about many of these numbers. Well, yes and no, John. I just analyzed that deal, and tomorrow I'm going to make an offer for 79. Am I guessing? Sure. Does that mean I can't offer? Of course not. I offer on deals sight unseen all the time. If you want to know more about that, remind me in the Q&A. I'll share with you why. And once you analyze, let's say 20 deals in your market, you're going to know what to include for vacancy. You're going to know what to include for water, sewer, and garbage. You're going to get good at it, right? And so, like, you're going to be fine. Like, yeah, the first couple of deals, you'll spend more than 10 minutes. You might spend a half hour to do the first time because you don't know how to find the taxes on your county. But do you think you're going to have to spend 20 minutes searching your county every time you need to know taxes? No, just the first time. All right. So we analyze the deal together, but now how do you finance that deal? We're going to talk about financing next. We got a couple more steps. Then we're going to talk about some of the tools that you can use on BP to help you guys get kicked off fast. And then we're going to talk about those final door prizes and do some Q&A. Does that sound good? We're at 53 minutes past the hour. We're probably going to go about 15 minutes over. Today. If that's cool, are you guys learning a lot? Are you guys enjoying this? Give me a yes, that's cool, or yes, I'm enjoying it over in the chat area if that's cool. Because if not, we can just end this thing early, but hopefully you guys are enjoying this. So let's move on. Finance, you got to pay for them. There are so many ways to finance deals. Real estate investing financing is like a toolbox, right? So if you only have a hammer and that's all you have to your toolbox, you can do very few jobs, right? You can like hit a hammer into the wall and put a hole in it. You can pound in a nail if the nail's sitting there, right? But if you have a hammer and a saw and a drill, now you can build like a swing set, right? And if you have a jackhammer and a level and a tape measure, now you can build a house. In other words, the more tools you have in your toolbox, the more projects you can take on. Now, how does that apply to creative real estate? The more mental tools you have in your toolbox, the more projects you can take on, which means the more ways you understand how to finance deals, the more deals you'll be able to put together. So when somebody comes to me with a deal, now I can say, okay, how do I want to do this? Can I pay cash? Can I use an FHA loan? Can I use a 203K loan? Can I use a partnership? Can I use a HELOC? Can I use seller financing? Can I use a lease option? Can I use subject to? Can I use hard money? Can I use private money? Can I use a combination? Can I use a HELOC to buy it and then refinance into a traditional loan? I didn't even write traditional loan on here. That's weird. These are all creative strategies that require low to no money down, right? This you can do Like, isn't that awesome, guys? Like, these are all things that I have done. Okay, I've never done a 203K loan technically, but I was the contractor on my best friend's 203K loan, and I walked him through the whole process. But every other one of these I've done before. No, wait, I lied. I've not done a subject to. I don't really like subject to, so I'm not going to do those because I don't like them. But the rest of them I've done. I've also done something called the BRRRR strategy. That is my all-time favorite strategy when it comes to investing in real estate with low money down. Let me give you an example. So I'm buying a property here in a few weeks. I'm going to buy it. It's a duplex. I'm going to buy it using private money. Then I'm going to fix it up. Then I'm going to go to a bank and I'm going to refinance it. I'm going to refinance it, which means I'm going to get a new loan that's going to pay off the private money lender. Do you know how much money I'm having in this entire deal? Guess how much? $0. I will have $0 in this deal because the private money lender is going to fund the whole deal and the bank's going to refinance it. Do you know how much cash flow I'm going to get from this deal? Conservatively, $700 a month, right? Conservatively $700 a month with no money out of pocket. Now, can you do that on your very first deal? Yes. Are you going to? I don't know. Are you going to learn it? Now, I wrote a book on this. If you guys want to learn more, every one of these strategies you can find for free information on BiggerPockets, blog posts, forums, podcasts. You can find that. If you want to see it all in one big place, you should probably pick up a copy of this book. It's called The Book on Investing in Real Estate with No and Low Money Down. It's pretty awesome, I think. You can also get it on Audible. But if you guys are interested, I'm going to give this away to some people later in today's webinar, so hang tight for that. I'll actually tell you guys how you can get that for free, so hang tight. All right, moving on to step number 6. Oh, by the way, guys, somebody asked earlier, about what's a 203K loan? And I know I did not go into all of these in depth. If you want, we can talk about each one of them if you want in the Q&A. I just don't want to spend too much time right now on them. But basically, the 203K loan is a government-sponsored loan that if you choose to live in the property for a year, they will help fund your repairs. It's awesome. It's really awesome. So, all righty, let's move on to number 6. Once you have committed to the process, once you've learned what you need to learn and you've built a plan, once you've shopped for the deals, once you've started analyzing them, and once you started making offers and getting financing, next you got to actually buy it. So how do you buy them? Well, everything else is done up to this point. It's actually really easy. A title company just takes care of it. A title company just takes care of it at that point. It's awesome. Like, oh, by the way, somebody asked, how do you make the offer? How do you make the offer? Well, if it's with a real estate agent, if the property is listed, you get a real estate agent and then you make an offer through your agent. If the property is not listed through an agent, you just make the offer verbally or on a piece of paper. It's actually pretty simple. And if you need a contract, just go find one online, like easylandlordforms.com or uslegalforms.com, or BiggerPockets is going to supply them pretty soon, which is kind of cool. So, all right. That's how you buy it. And then at that point, you got to manage them. You just got to take care of it and manage it going forward and make sure that the property doesn't crash and burn, right? Otherwise, you could have put all this work into it. And at the end of the day, if you don't manage the rehab, if you don't manage the tenants, if you don't manage the wholesale deal, whatever you're trying to do, if you don't manage correctly, you're going to burn. So learning does not end when you purchase the property. Learning is just beginning. If you want to buy rental property, make sure you guys pick up a copy of the book on managing rental properties. That's what I co-wrote with my wife. And she is the smartest landlord I've ever met in my life. I'm not kidding. I'm not even biased. Okay, I'm biased. But she's seriously the smartest landlord you'll ever meet. She should be a speaker, but she hates being in front of people. All right, so she wrote a book. Now, here's those. I said I want to talk about the 5 mistakes new investors make. I don't want you guys to make these mistakes. So here we go. Number 1, they buy the wrong deal. They buy the wrong deal because they didn't do their numbers correctly. Number 2, they analyze the deal wrong. In other words, they do the numbers, but they just don't analyze well. I once bought a duplex that I tried flipping into a single family house. I lost $10,000 and 2 years of my life on that. I racked up like $40,000 in credit card debt on that deal. And I lost money on it because I didn't analyze it right. I used a spreadsheet and I made some mistakes on it and I got screwed up. I also, like a lot of people make this mistake. They let the lack of money stop them. Look, I know a lot of you guys don't have a lot of money. I did not have a lot of money when I got started with real estate. In fact, like I did not have like a lot of money until like 2 years ago. Like I'm not even kidding. Like 2 or 3 years ago is when it started really piling up. And even that, I don't even take a salary right now for my real estate. Every bit of money I make from real estate, I put back into more real estate deals. Like I just I believe so strongly in real estate that I don't even take a salary from my real estate anymore. Like I did for a while when I quit my job and retired, but I realized I'd rather reinvest it so I can build a bigger and better future for myself. So understand that you do not need money to invest in real estate. I achieve financial freedom without it. You can as well. Also, people listen to other people's negativity, right? Everybody's got like an Uncle Bob who he tried investing in real estate and it didn't work out for him, so you shouldn't do it either, right? When I got started with real estate, I called my parents and I said, I told my parents that I wanted to invest in real estate. You know what I was told? They said, you're going to go, my dad said, I think that the exact words were, you're going to go broke and end up homeless because nobody, like the tenants are not going to pay you rent. You're not going to be able to make the payment. You're going to lose everything and be homeless. Uncle Bob tried that and it didn't work for him, right? It was that negativity thing. And had I listened to them, I would still be working probably $10 an hour, $12 an hour, day job that I hated. I'd be working at a bank or something. And I'd have to work every day, 9 to 5, leave my house at 8, sit in a commute for an hour, and never get to see my little girl. But I didn't do that. I didn't listen to other people's negativity. I surrounded myself with people who were already successful through real estate. I listened to everybody I could listen to. I made friends with real estate investors. I went to Bigger Pockets and I engaged in the forums. And I listened to those people's positivity instead. And lastly, the mistake people make is they never take action to start. Remember earlier I said like the law of diminishing intent, right? It's where people say, I want to do this, but then they don't ever do it. They never take action. So earlier at the beginning of this webinar, I gave you guys the 3 webinar rules, right? The 3 webinar rules. And one of them was you've got to take action within 24 hours. So what are you going to take action on? Here's a few things, suggestions I have for you. Number 1, start analyzing deals. I don't even care if you just go to like Zillow.com to get leads. I don't care. The point is not to get the deal right now. The point is to learn how to analyze a deal. So can you commit to analyzing one deal every day for the next 90 days? I call it the 90-day challenge. That's what you need to do. You need to start analyzing deals, or you need to start reading a book. Go buy a book and commit to that, right? Within 24 hours. Commit to something within 24 hours. Now, listen, guys, I do not understand why you came here today. I don't know why you came here. You're all in different positions. Some of you are rich already. Some of you are dirt poor. Some of you are experienced. You've done 50 deals and you want to go to 100, right? I don't know why you came here, but here's what I do know is true for most newbies. In fact, I'd say all newbies. It's scary. I remember what that was like to be driving through the fog, so to speak, or to be lost in the maze and not sure what's next. It's scary. And this is what it feels like. I know a lot of you guys feel like this right now. Like you're jumping off a cliff. You're like, I don't know what's at the bottom. I hope I'm doing the right thing. And your friends are up there laughing at you like, oh, what a moron. He thinks he can get rich quick. He's in one of those get rich quick schemes, right? Like, I get that. This is what it feels like. But you guys, this is a lie. This is a lie your brain tells you to try to keep you from taking risks. The mind doesn't like risks very much. The mind really doesn't like risks. And so it tries to tell you this is scary, you shouldn't do it. But this is what real estate investing is really like. It's not always easy. It is a hike, but it's a well-worn path that has been walked by millions and millions of people before. I'm on the same path you guys are on. There's thousands of people out there on the same path. All you need to do is walk that path, follow that path. And that's what Bigger Pockets is all about. That's how the Bigger Pockets community, the site, the podcast, these webinars. I'm just trying to show you what I've done on my path. And there are thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people on BP doing the same thing, saying, this is my path. This is what I've done. This is what's worked for me. Hopefully it works for you as well. And that's what I love about this community. That's what I love about real estate in general, is that it is a well-worn path that sometimes it's a hike, sometimes it's uphill, sometimes it's downhill, but it's a path. But it only works if you take action. It only works if you take action, right? Jim Rohn says, I said it earlier, life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. If you go away from this webinar and go back to your old life of sitting on TV, watching Dance with the Stars every night, hoping Bob Saget wins, nothing's going to change. But if you take deliberate action, your life can change entirely. Here's an example of that. Dennis sent me this message a while back, and I love it, and so I talk about it all the time. I brag about this all the time. Dennis said, hey, Brandon, I wanted to thank you and BP. After attending your webinar on how to make $1 million in real estate, I got inspired to take action. So that was a webinar I did a while back. So last week, I closed on my first deal. I now have a triplex that is rented and will cash flow very well for me. I can now call myself a real estate investor. I have a plan moving forward that will make my business a success. Thank you. You guys, Dennis sent me this email like 3 weeks after I did that webinar. He went out from the webinar, got inspired, took massive action, started analyzing deals, making offers, crushing it. And today, he's got this triplex that's rented for him and cash flowing. He's on his way to financial freedom. You know why he did that? Because he took action, right? But I bet you there was 100 other people on that webinar who showed up and did nothing. Because I can't figure it out. I don't know how to find deals. I can't figure out the money. I'm going to quit, right? Rather than asking the question, how do I? They just say, I can't, and they give up. So what type of person are you? Are you somebody that says, I can't, or somebody asks, how can I? Now, earlier we analyzed a deal together. We looked at a deal. We ran the numbers. We figured out what we can pay for it. I want to encourage you guys, like I said earlier, analyze deals every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day. Consistency is the key there. Now, if you want to analyze deals by hand, you're more than welcome to, but I don't know about you, but I don't have an hour a day to spend on that, right? So if you want to analyze deals quickly and efficiently and save all of your analysis for future reference, to go back and edit it whenever you want to be able to share your reports, you can actually print PDF reports based on your results. You can send them to your agent, to a partner, to a lender. If you're trying to get loans, you can do all that with the BiggerPockets calculators, but you do have to have a BiggerPockets Pro membership to have unlimited access to those calculators. A Pro membership, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but do you guys mind if I spend 4 minutes telling you about what Pro is? If you don't care about Pro at all, go find some water and come back for the Q&A and the final door prizes. But if you're wondering what Pro is or how can Pro help you buy more real estate deals, and I truly believe it can, stay tuned for the next 3 or 4 minutes, because I'm going to run through it real quickly on how Pro can help change your life. Our Pro members do a whole lot more real estate than our non-Pro members. Here's why. First of all, how can it help you find success? You can make smarter decisions with the BiggerPockets property analysis tools. In other words, you can screen for great deals that'll help you achieve your goals, and you can avoid the bad ones that are going to hurt you, right? So if you're you don't want to buy a deal that's going to cost you 10 grand in 2 years of your life like it cost me, analyze the deals. That's it. Analyze deals. Figure out what makes sense. Go buy some property. That's all it takes. Seriously, it's not that complicated to do, right? Now, by the way, if you guys are thinking about going Pro, you're I might go Pro sometime. I'm going to give you actually a discount code here in a little bit to just encourage you guys to take action today. Because again, the law of diminishing intent. You're excited today. I understand that. Take action today, but I'll give you a discount code here in just a minute. But BiggerPockets Pro is about a little bit more than just that. Also, as a Pro member, you can connect with people who can help you succeed. We have a page called biggerpockets.com/meet, MEET, not meat like beef. But you can find lenders, partners, investors, agents, and more. You can search for people in your market. You can search for other Pro members in your market and take them out to lunch. Go find a successful Pro member at biggerpockets.com/meet. Find a successful BiggerPockets guy who's done lots of deals or girl and ask them out to lunch next week. It'll change your life. Also, as a Pro member, you can post your needs or haves in the marketplace. So if you need a deal or if you have one, go post about it in the marketplace. That's where people do business on BP. Also, you show the world you're serious about taking action. You get a little Pro badge next to your name, which you guys, if you're trying to attract private lenders on BP or hard money lenders or partners or whatever, you just want people to take you seriously. Having that Pro badge next to your name says, look, I'm in this to win it. I'm not just in it for a week and then I'm going to go watch Dancing with the Stars every night next week. You're in this thing. And also, one of the most important things I believe on BiggerPockets is the ability to upload a profile video to your BiggerPockets profile. In other words, if you have on your BiggerPockets profile, you can put a video there from YouTube of you talking to the camera and say, hey, my name's Bill, unless your name's John, then say John. My name's John, unless your name's Sally, then say Sally. And this is what I'm looking for. This is who I am. This is what I'm into, right? And people will go to your profile and they'll learn more about you, and it builds trust in an incredible way. Also, and this is huge, guys, if you guys enjoy learning this way with webinars, I've done webinars on a ton of different topics, and they are unlimited access for our Pro members. Watch them anytime on any device. There's over 50 hours of them. For example, how to make $1 million through real estate, how to find incredible real estate deals even in a competitive market, how to invest in real estate while working a full-time job, how to generate $5,000 a month from single family houses, My 3 favorite strategies for buying real estate without a lot of cash. How to buy your first or next rental property. How to quit your job through real estate. How to make 6 figures with BRRRR investing. That's my favorite strategy in the world. If you guys want to know more about that, watch that webinar. It's an hour and 15 minutes long of just talking about BRRRR. How to check private money. That's huge. And then also things like unlimited keyword alerts, save with BiggerPockets perks on a bunch of cool things. You can access a pro-only forum, and you can download unlimited files in the file place. And honestly, guys, if you just want to help support BiggerPockets, we would love to have you as a pro member as well. It's for people. So who is pro for? BiggerPockets Pro is for people who are committed to this. If you're not committed yet, that's okay. We're here for you when you are. But if you're committed to invest in real estate this year, you want to buy properties, if you're committed, BiggerPockets Pro for you. If you need to maximize your time because you don't have a lot of time, those calculators will save you hours a week of work. If you need partners, lenders, or special advice, use the marketplace. If you want to analyze a lot of deals like I do, then use the calculator. It'll make you so much more efficiently. If you want to invest now, not 10 years from now, not 20 years from now, but you're ready now, and if you're committed to the hard work needed, this is not get rich quick. This is get rich after working many years, or at least a few years, for hard. Let me give you guys one more example of how this can help you guys achieve success. I got this private message from a person a while ago, and it said this. Just wanted to say hello and just want to say thank you for the webinar. It was very informative and gave me several good ideas. Well, thank you. I signed up for Pro, and I used the calculator you demonstrated to evaluate and make offers on 2 deals. Do you guys see the deal funnel happening? They found some deals. They started analyzing them, and then they made some offers. One was accepted, currently listed on the marketplace. The other, the seller was unyielding in price, even after I showed them the numbers. Oh, well, they're lost. So again, just wanted to say hello and thanks. What I love about this is not just that they signed up for Pro and took action. It's not just that they got a deal accepted, though that is really awesome, right? That they got their deal accepted. The best thing about this is that they didn't get a bad deal accepted. That's my favorite part about this, right? So many people are buying bad deals today all the time. They didn't let a bad deal, they didn't let emotion cause them to buy a bad deal. All right, so then the big question is, how much does Pro cost? Jason asked that. I think Rob asked that. So BiggerPockets Pro is $100,000 a day. I'm totally kidding. It's nothing like this. These are actually real life charges that some of the gurus are charging for their quote unquote education. That's actually legitimately real numbers that the gurus are charging. 100 grand, some of them are 50 grand, 20 grand, 10 grand. That's cheap. If you can get 10 grand for a guru to give you some information. I get a buddy who spent 15 grand on a bunch of notebooks from one of the gurus, a traveling salesman, right? You can find all that stuff on BiggerPockets for free. You don't need to buy any of their guru crap. But if you want the tools that we offer that can help you buy more deals, help you get to your goal faster, BiggerPockets Pro, I want to encourage you guys to go Pro. And it's only $290 per year. It's only $290 per year. Like not even per month, that's per year, right? So that's less than $1 a day for a Pro annual membership. It's like $290. However, like I said, I do have a code for you guys that's going to give you a bunch of really cool bonuses for those people who go Pro annual tonight. So I'm going to work through those real quick, and then we're going to do the Q&A and the final door prizes. So first of all, the most expensive item we sell on all BiggerPockets is the $300 conference audio. It's our conference we recorded back in 2012. It's over 25 hours of audio training from the smartest real estate investors in the country. We sell it for $300 in the store. You can go buy it if you want to, but I'm going to include it tonight here for no additional charge at all for anybody who goes Pro annual. $300 value, yours for free. Bonus number 2, if you want to know more about investing with creativity instead of cash, using other people's money, I wrote a whole book on it. You guys are going to get a digital copy of it immediately. You can download it, read it on your iPad, your Kindle, your phone, your computer screen, print it out at Staples if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. But you're going to get a digital copy of this book that walks you through all of those strategies that I talked about earlier. Or listen to it in your car. We're also going to include for all Pro members that upgrade tonight, the digital audiobook version of it. So you can listen while you're walking the dog, while you're driving to work, while you're sitting in an office. Also, I wrote a short book called How to Find Incredible Real Estate Deals, because people struggle with this a lot. How do you find deals in your market? And I walk through a lot of the most common ways that I find deals. And I teach you guys how to do it. And then I did these interviews with Ben Leibovich, Chad Carson, Jay Scott, Doug Larson, Mike Simmons, Michael Blanc, and Aaron Mazzarello. These 7 guys I look up to a ton. They're the most creative investors I've ever interviewed. And they basically share all of their stories on how they invest in real estate using creativity. This thing will blow your guys' mind. Make sure you watch all 6 hours or listen to it. It's amazing content on investing with creativity. If you don't have a lot of money, you need to watch that. And then lastly, also on the topic of financing, I did a 2-hour video on how to invest in real estate with no and low money down. I basically walk you through how I did my portfolio, walk you through the whole process. Hey, here's how I did my 24-unit apartment complex using no money of my own. Here's how I bought my duplex, my single family. Here's how I flip houses with no money. I walk you through that. It's a $200 value. It's like sitting down with me for an hour or for 2 hours. That is included as well for those people who are interested. And lastly, this is for people who go pro tonight. You guys will get a 20% off discount off that pro membership. So instead of paying $290, we're actually taking it down to $232, which is like 64 cents a day. Again, we want to make pro accessible for every single person here. Every person here, we want you guys to become pro members because we believe that a pro membership will help you buy more real estate. We firmly believe that it'll help you avoid buying a bad deal. I mean, if you can buy one extra deal your entire life, it pays for itself 10 times over. If you can avoid buying one stinker deal your entire life, it pays for itself over and over. Now, we do have a monthly option, but I never recommend it because the annual gets all the bonuses and it holds your feet to the fire. It says, you know what? I'm in this for good. It's cheaper and you get all the bonuses and it holds your feet to the fire, which I think is the most important thing. It's not like, oh, I'm kind of dabbling in it. I might do it. It's like, hey, I'm in this thing for good and I'm going to succeed at this. So that's why I recommend if you're thinking about it, go pro annual. It's cheaper and just you get a lot of cool stuff. And lastly, if you upgrade, let me know in the chat area. If you upgrade, I just want to give you guys a shout out and just say, hey, good job. Thanks for coming. I'm going to give you a little bear hug. Maybe, pinch your butt a little bit. I'm just kidding. I won't do that. Sexual harassment. And I just want to give you guys a bear hug. So let me know in the chat area if you do it. Upgrade. To do so, though, you just got to go to biggerpockets.com/pro upgrade. There should be a thing on your screen that says that. If you don't see it, well, that's weird. Just go to biggerpockets.com/pro upgrade. So, and if you're already a pro member, there's always that question. Some people are already pro members and I don't want to leave you guys out. Just go to biggerpockets.com/webinar/bonus. And if you're a pro annual member, you can get the same goodies. And if you're a pro monthly, you can upgrade to pro annual and get the same goodies. So with that, let me know in the chat area. We're going to move on and we're going to talk about the Q&A stuff. Oh, Pro versus Plus. I want to cover this. Somebody asked that question too, so it's a good thing I have this in here. We have a Plus membership. I don't recommend it. You don't get unlimited access to the calculators. You just get use of the marketplace a couple times a month and a few other things. I generally never recommend Plus. In fact, I'm petitioning that we get rid of our Plus membership. The only reason we have it is for people who want to post in the marketplace but don't want to spend $232. They just want to post in the marketplace. You can do that for I think it's $90, but I don't recommend Plus ever. So go pro and go annual to get all the cool stuff today. I'm going to leave this page up for a while. So if you guys upgrade to pro, let me know in the chat area. I'll give you guys a shout out. And we're going to do some Q&A. So first of all, let me give the final door prizes. Door prizes. Number one, you can get the entire slide deck from today's webinar by going to biggerpockets.com/621 slides. That's 621 slides. And then you can get 7 years of 7-figure wealth by going to biggerpockets.com/7 years. That book is going to change your guys' life. So way to stay tuned till the end. How many people are still here? 668 people. That's amazing. That means only we only lost 20% throughout for an hour and 18-minute long webinar. That's incredible. All right. Well, that's cool. All right. So write that down. Those are your special gifts. Biggerpockets.com/621 slides and 7 years. I can come back to that later if you want. We're going to do some Q&A. Understand that I am not a lawyer or a doctor, a nurse, a CPA, or anything like that. All these opinions are just my opinions. That's all they are. And I'm not giving you guys any legal or tax advice. So I'm just going to give you guys my opinion. But I'll leave this up on the screen for a little bit, and we'll do some Q&A. What do you guys got for me? Any questions at all about what we talked about today, whether about real estate, about pro, about Bigger Pockets, about anything at all? Let's talk about it. So a few shout-outs, by the way, while they're coming in. Jake said 20% off. Thank you. Brandon, now I'm a pro. Jake, you're awesome. Welcome. Ryan said, I'm sold. That's awesome. Let's see. Clarissa said, gonna get it now. That's awesome. Welcome. Roxanne upgraded. Ricky upgraded. David said, where do I go to buy it? Go to biggerpockets.com/pro upgrade. Anya, already a pro. Whoop, whoop. Nicole said, thanks. You're welcome. Let's see. Tyler says, I'm in. Awesome. Makita going pro annual. Let's see. Robert said, Brandon, real quick, can you explain how you were conservatively expecting to make $700 a month on this deal when your cash flow is only $300? Robert, I'm not exactly sure what you mean. So I think you might be thinking of two different deals that I talked about. First, we analyzed the deal together earlier. That was $300 a month in cash flow if I manage myself. Then I later told you a story about a deal that I'm buying, not the same one. I'm buying another property. It's a duplex, not the same one. That one I'm going to be getting $700 a month in cash flow on it. So hopefully that clears that up. All right. Jonathan, Marthan, Diane, Jason, Jared, Nayan, Tracy, Bill. Ooh, you guys are awesome. All right. Christopher said upgraded. That's awesome. Welcome. Jason just signed up for Pro. Whoop, whoop. Eric just upgraded. All right. Let's see. Trent just upgraded to Pro. I'm going to do some Q&A as they come in, but I always want to give everyone a shout out first. Nicole asked, when did I get started? I was 21 years old when I bought my first property. I'm 31 now. Eric just upgraded. Jared said, any tips on estimating rents when outside the area you live? Sure. Use Craigslist. That's a good way to do it. Craigslist even has a map feature, which is really helpful when estimating rents. There's also a site called rentometer.com that can be helpful. Zillow can be helpful. Calling up local property management companies and asking them, that can be really helpful. So those are all good. Rosette said, I'm in. Rock on, Rosette. Makita going pro now. Whoop, whoop. Let's see. Trent just bought Pro. That's awesome. Welcome to Bigger Pockets Pro, dude. Oh, by the way, guys, if you end up going Pro, the page you land on when you're done has all the downloads, but you're also going to get it in your email. But understand that when you land on like the thank you page, the receipt page, so to speak, when it says, hey, congratulations, you just upgraded, that page also has a lot of videos that share with you how to use your Pro membership. So definitely keep track of that. Terrence said, Brandon, what was the max you would have paid for that house that we analyzed the deal on? Probably about what I analyzed, 79,000, 80. You know, I might go up to like 85 or 90 if I want to manage it myself, maybe even 100 if I'll manage myself. But really, I'd probably stick to around 80 or 90. Danielle said, signing up now. That's awesome. Richelon said, I'm in. That's awesome. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Raymond asked, what do you think about D-class properties? Good question. So a D-class property is something that I generally stay away from. What that means, it's usually a war zone. It means that I might get shot if I go there. I don't like that. What I look for are C-class properties in B-class areas, which means they're kind of gross properties, and I buy them in pretty good neighborhoods. Like, I'm not buying an A-class neighborhood where every house is $1 million. That's not my strategy. I look for C-class houses in a B-class neighborhood. All right. Gabriella asked a great question. This is probably applies to a lot of you guys. Gabrielle said, oh, shoot, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Well, I remember the thing. Basically, the question was, do you recommend making an offer even if you don't have the financing lined up? Was basically the offer or the question. You know, sort of. What I recommend is you pursue both at the same time. You should know how you're going to finance a deal before you make an offer. You at least have an idea about it. I would recommend that. However, you should analyze deals before you figure out the financing. What I mean by that is, like, you need to get good at analyzing so you know how to jump on a deal when it comes, but you also need to be working the financing angle as well. So start learning about financing, meeting people, meeting private lenders, meeting hard money lenders, find out probably how you'll finance the deal, get pre-approved if you want to go with a bank, and then start making offers. So you should at least know generally how to do it, but you don't have to. All right. Clarissa says that if you do the annual membership, do you get charged at the beginning of every year or next year, June? You'll get charged next year, June. So 12 months from now. And you can cancel anytime. By the way, guys, we actually offer a 30-day guarantee on Pro as well. So if you're thinking about going Pro and you're not quite sure, just sign up for 30 days. Sign up for the annual membership. Keep all the bonuses and then just cancel on day 30 or 29. You'll be fine. What else we got here? Lisa said, I'm going to do it after your webinar. Awesome. Welcome. Jeannie said, signing up now. Ryan said, upgraded. Whoop, whoop. Alex said, is the calculator free or do you need a Pro subscription? You need a Pro subscription to use it unlimited. Free members can use it 5 times total. So, Sonia asked a good question. How long do we have to use the code? Great question. This expires on Friday night. So today, if you're watching this live, it is currently, June 21st, Wednesday. So you have 2 days. You have about 48 hours or so. Cliff said, I pro'd up. Whoop, whoop. Love that, pro'd up. I'm going to use that phrase. Do I need a lawyer on my team? It's not a bad idea, I guess, but I wouldn't worry about it. When you need a lawyer, you'll know you need a lawyer and then get a lawyer. Clayton asks, is the 20% discount reoccurring every year? Sorry, I should have said that. Yes, it is. Actually, it's two good things about that. Not only is it reoccurring discount every year, it's also locked in every year, which means even when Pro goes up in price, which it was supposed to go up this winter and it hasn't yet, I don't know what they're waiting on. But even if Pro goes up, you'll actually lock in the lower rate. So keep that in mind. All right, Manny asked, how do you select a property manager? Somebody else asked, how do you select a contractor? How do you find a good one? I'm going to address both these together. You find good contractors and you find good property managers by referrals and referrals alone, or at least primarily. Like a company, you can never know by their marketing how they're going to do. You have to talk to people who they've worked with. If you don't know investors in your area, you should attend local meetups. And if you don't have local meetups, you should start a local meetup. Go to biggerpockets.com/events. And if you're a pro member, you can start a local BiggerPockets meetup in your area, which is a great way to become kind of the hub, the center of your real estate market, which is kind of cool. Anyway, recommendations. If you want Home Depot, go to the Pro Desk at Home Depot, the Pro Desk, or at Lowe's, and ask the people who work at the Pro Desk who they would hire to work on their properties, and ask them for recommendations. They'll tell you. All right, Diana said, how do you place an offer sight unseen on a flip? Let me show you guys this. I'm going to turn my face back on again. Well, no, first I'm going to show you guys my offer sight unseen. Let's see if this comes up here. I want to show you guys a blog post that I wrote on this. I don't know if it'll find it this way because it's kind of a weird title, but if not, I'll go to Google. Do 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 do. All right, so first of all, if you type in here, there's an episode, Can I Make an Offer Sight Unseen? There's an episode of the Ask BP podcast all about that. Oh, here it is. How and why I offer on properties before I ever step foot in the house. Check this out. This is a blog post I wrote all about how I make offers both on flips and rental properties before I ever walk through the property. I do that quite often. I make offers before I see it. I'll put the link in the chat area. If you want to just click the link, you can do that. So keep that in mind. All right, a few people upgraded to Pro, a few other people who invested in their Pro membership. Let's see. Andrew just invested in Pro. I love that. Welcome. Jared upgraded to Pro. Solomon just went Pro. And if I'm forgetting to call people out, I apologize. Mr. went Pro. I don't know if that's your real name, but that's awesome. Rishalon said, you're a Pro. You said my name correctly. Did I say it right this time? I hope so. All right. Simon asked, how do you figure out vacancy rate? Great question. So over time, I just know what my personal vacancy rate is. We are very good at getting units rented out because my wife is an amazing landlord and she wrote the book on managing rental properties. I would probably call up a local property manager and ask them what theirs is and just use that number because you're going to do better than a property manager. Or if you hire a property manager, you're going to do about the same as because they're managing, right? So I would ask a property manager what they do, and then you'll know. How do you find other things? Like how do you know how much to set aside for CapEx and repairs? Repairs, I typically will do between $50 and $100 a month, depending on the age of the house and the condition. And CapEx, I will typically do between $50 and $150, maybe even up to $200, depending on the age and the condition of the house. Fernando said, where do I shop for loans and get good prices? I would start with your local bank. Like wherever you bank, start there. And then ask for recommendations from other investors. Say, hey, where do you get loans from? Talk to some investors in your area and ask them for an introduction to their banker. That can be a great way. In fact, if you guys go to biggerpockets.com, let me show you guys biggerpockets.com/meet. If you go up here to the nav bar and go down to, find members right here. Find members. This is BiggerPockets Meet. It shows you members that are in your area that you can connect with. And in fact, I can find pro members. Like here's Brent. Here's Andrew Freeberg. Hey, you guys, this is Andrew Freeberg. He's flipping a house with me right now. This dude's awesome. You should connect with him. Here's another investor here. Now, what I can also do is I can find, if I go search members, I can find like people who are, potentially, agents or whatever in any zip code in the country if you're a pro member, or just in your zip code if you're not a pro member. and I can look for certain things, certain labels about them. But let's say I wanted to search here. I'm going to search for a few of these people. Let's look at Sean. Let's look at Brent. Hey, there's Ruth. She's another cool gal that I know. Let's start with these two people. Oh, there's Sean Robles. I know him. He's a flipper and he's an agent. He'll know. All right, so Sean here, he might have an idea of where I can go to find a loan. Brent, I might be able to ask him. He's purchased 2 duplexes in the Lacey Olympia area. You think I might want to talk to him about who financed his? Sean, this actually was an agent of mine. I actually used him for a couple of deals back in the day. Sean is an agent who is super bright, and he probably knows a lot of good loans. So I would start there. Those are just a few ways that you can do it. Anyway. Alvaro said, I'm in. Can you say my name right? Alvaro. I'm going to go with Alvaro. So tell me, is it Alvaro, which is option 1, or Alvaro, option 2? Or am I completely wrong, option 3? Josh said, how do you define the class of a neighborhood? Great question. There's no hard and fast rules, but generally A is really nice, B is not as nice, C is really not nice, and D is horrible. That's about it. So Kim said, I love this question. Kim said, can you give a good definition of cash on cash return? Yes, I can. Let me turn my face on. Is that cool? Hold on. The question was, can you give a good definition for cash on cash return? Sure. So let's just say, hold on one second. This might be a little bit blurry for you, but I'm going to do my best. So let's say you have an investment that every year you make $1,000 a year in cash flow or profit. It could be any investment, not even just real estate, but let's just say real estate. Every year you make $1,000 a year. Now let's make this $10,000 a year. Every year you make $10,000 a year. Well, how much money did you put in the deal to make $10,000 a year, right? Because if you spent no money, then $10,000 a year is really good, right? But if you spent $1 billion and you're only making 10 grand a year, that's really crappy, right? So cash on cash return tells you what investment like yield you're getting on your money based on just cash flow. So let's just say to make $10,000 a year, I had to put in $100,000. So let me angle that up a little bit. So it's your total cash flow divided by your invested capital. If I put 100 grand into it, including closing costs and repairs, I've got a 10% cash on cash return. So hope that helps there. Ryan said, I just bought Plus this month, but I want to go Pro. Can I change it? Yes, you can upgrade to Pro. If you're a Plus member, you can go Pro. You'll get all the same discounts and everything. Travis went Pro. That's awesome. Let's see what else we got here. Henry asked, is wholesaling illegal? Great question, Henry. So check this out. I'm going to go back to my screen real quick. Hold on. Is wholesaling, search suggestion, is wholesaling illegal? Let's find out. I wrote an article on this too, but there's going to be a ton of discussions, I bet. Look at that. In the forums, there's 147 different discussions all about this. On the blog, there's 18. In fact, the first one is called, by Brandon Turner, hey, he's a stud, Is Real Estate Wholesaling Illegal? Click that. There's also the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Wholesaling if you want, but check this out. Is real estate wholesaling illegal? You'll learn about there. The short answer, real estate wholesaling is illegal in some states, and it's shady in some states, and it's perfectly okay in some states. But there is a way to wholesale legitimately in all 50 states. In fact, if you want to know more about that, you guys, if you're interested in wholesaling, even if you're not, even if you're not interested in wholesaling, go here, go up to the navigation bar, go to education, go to podcast, and your education, go to podcast, and then scroll down and listen to this one right here from last week. A simple strategy for doing 25 deals a month with Brett Snodgrass. This show is legit. This guy teaches you how to wholesale correctly without being a jerk and ripping people off, and how to do it legally, or at least like how he does it. All right. Kevin just signed up for Pro, all exclamation marks and caps. I love it. I love the enthusiasm. Let's see. Omar said, just signed up for Pro. Step 1 of taking action within 24 hours. Omar, I love that. And that is a good step. Honestly, like when you put $232 towards something, you have a much greater chance of accomplishing something. Like, you know, at Bigger Pockets, we don't sell courses. We have a free course you can actually take, but we don't sell courses. And I actually think, like, I would argue with Josh, who's the CEO of Bigger Pockets. I would argue that we should charge. You know why? Because people rarely, like, so many studies show this. People rarely take action on things that they get for free. Like, I've seen the data on people who take this free course. This is a 4-hour, 17-minute long course that I put together on a beginner's guide to real estate investing. It's me teaching you all of these different course lessons. Why invest? What is BP? This is totally free to everybody. Do you know how many people have ever actually finished this? I bet you, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but last time I looked, it was like 200,000 people have started it. And it was like 600 people have finished. Now, maybe I just suck at teaching, right? That's very possible. But I think it's that people don't ever do stuff unless they pay for it. But when you put some money into it, it's like, okay, well, now I have to do it, right? You kind of force yourself. I trick myself into that all the time. I'll pay for things just so I force myself to do it. Makita said, is there any benefit to getting your real estate license? There is definitely a benefit. I do not have mine, but you definitely could do it. So keep that in mind. Shasha went pro. That's awesome. Welcome. Jacob asked, what is house hacking? House hacking is where you live in one unit and you rent out the others. So if I go up here and type in house hacking, and I just hit enter, you're going to land on a blog post that I wrote called House Hacking 101, How to Hack Your Housing and Get Paid to Live for Free. Also, if you go to the Bigger Pockets store or, you know, go to Amazon, get Scott Trench wrote a book called Set for Life. It's all about house hacking. All right. Nelson said, do you think it's too difficult to invest in real estate while working a full-time job? What would you do? So Nelson, very few people know this, but guess how much I work? That's right. I still work over 40 hours a week on various things. Now, I don't have one full-time job that I work full-time, but I work Bigger Pocket stuff. I'm doing webinars, podcasting, writing, probably 20 hours a week. I'm building an Amazon business selling wooden sunglasses with my brother, another probably 10 hours a week. I'm buying mobile home parks. I'm trying to buy a mobile home park, which, by the way, if anybody wants to become my apprentice, I'm looking for a real estate apprentice who wants to work for very, very cheap and analyze deals for me and to do kind of like a lot of the boots on the ground or the day-to-day daily work in exchange for education. So if you're interested in that, go to the forums. I posted a marketplace ad a few weeks ago. So go look for that. This is kind of your test to see if you can find it. Go to the marketplace, look for my ad, and then go apply the way that I tell you how to apply in that forum thread. So go look for that. It's in the marketplace. So go to my profile, Brandon at BP, I think is my profile name, but you'll find it. Anyway, where were we? I was talking about, I work well over 40 hours a week on various things because I'm a very entrepreneurial guy and I'm very passionate about it. And then there's my real estate, managing my properties. You can definitely invest in real estate working a full-time job. If you want to know more about that, go up to the education tab up here at the top and go down to webinars and go to webinar archive. And here is the webinar replay room for all pro members. So here is where you can watch webinar replays of past webinars like this one, flipping houses using other people's money, buying your first real estate using Bigger Pockets, how to generate $5,000 a month from single family houses, 5 things to know before buying a rental property, how to analyze a fix and flip. There's over 10 pages of these things. No low money down investing, how to buy your first next rental in the next 90 days. And right here, page 2, how to invest in real estate while working a full-time job, 1 hour and 26 minutes. Watch that tonight. All right, Nick upgraded. That's awesome. Welcome to Pro. Hannah said, we just went pro. It's our anniversary. Danish couple living in Malaysia. Thanks, Brandon. Hannah, you rock. Congratulations and happy anniversary. My anniversary, actually, guys, is in 2 weeks. So we're actually similar, Hannah. But yeah, my 10th anniversary is in 2 weeks. Henry just went pro. That's awesome. Went pro, bro. All right, Henry, that's awesome. Congratulations. Let's see. Carly said, if you have enough money, cash, saved up to pay for your first property in full, is it better to pay cash or is it better to use that cash to buy other properties using down payments and financing? Great question. Carly, it is 100% your choice. There's not a right or wrong answer here. But let me tell you this. It is less risky to pay cash. Dave Ramsey would tell you to pay cash. It is more aggressive in a good and bad way to do financing. I do financing because I'm very aggressive in my real estate investing. In other words, I wanted to grow very quick, so I use debt and financing because I can buy more properties, right? But I understand that increases the risk, right? More risk, more reward. That's just how it works. So it's kind of up to like what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with one way or another. It's a little faster to grow wealth if you use down payments. But then at the same time, if the market crashes, it's probably worse, right? So more risk, more reward. Devin said, what did you do before you did real estate full time? I was a banker for a while and I worked overnights at a group home. It was a terrible job. James said, how do I go about getting the paperwork for my tenants to sign? I know I've plugged a lot in this webinar, different things, but go to biggerpockets.com/rental book, biggerpockets.com/rental book. These here for like $30 or something like that. Okay, fine. $49 or $69. Go $69. Here's why. For $69, you will get the book on rental property investing and the book on managing rental properties. And it comes with, where is it here? Over 30 sample forms for your landlord business. And it walks you through exactly how to get tenants to do all that stuff. You also get the 10 most common dangers real estate investors face and how to avoid them. You get a video on the truth about investing in $30,000 houses and 8 never before seen interviews with rental property investors over 5 hours of content. So definitely go there, pick up a copy of both of these books. You get for $69, you get an actual physical copy and you get a digital copy. It just makes perfect sense. You can also go to Amazon and get them as well. All righty. Anthony said, I'm coming back from stock market investing. I'm coming from stock market investing. I'm wondering why you say you should focus on niches as opposed to diversifying. In other words, why pick one niche and one strategy to focus on? Great question, Anthony. The main reason is only at the beginning. I don't buy one thing. I buy single family. I buy multifamily. I buy apartments. I buy mobile home parks now. I'm looking for one. If you got one, let me know. I do private lending. I do a lot of stuff. But when you're first starting, if you try to do everything, you will fail at everything. If you just pick one, you're going to do much better. In fact, an analogy that I use a lot, and it's going to be kind of hard to see because I don't have a way of cleaning my screen. I don't know what my thing is, but whatever. Basically, it's like this. Let's say over here, let's say this is you learning about flipping. And let's say this is single families and this is multifamily and this is apartments, right? If you spend like a 1 man day learning about one of these, that means one day you're going to do this one. And then one day you're going to do this one. And then one day you're going to do this one. And then maybe you go back to this one. And then you're going to do this one. And then this one and this one. And then go back here and do 2 days of there. Look at how long. And like, let's say this over here is the finish line. This is success. How long is it going to take you to get to success? It's going to take forever, right? But instead, if you ignore everything else and pick one thing to start with, and every man hour of learning, every deal you analyze gets you closer to the finish line. Once you get here, you're there. You don't have to relearn it. You're a pro. Then you start over and you go here and you work those. And eventually, you got them all, and now you're a seriously awesome real estate investor who knows everything. So when you're just starting, just pick what you know. Pick one thing and learn it really well and become the best person in your market. All right. Aaron said, is Pro automatic renewal? Yes, it is. However, yes, you can control it in your profile. You can turn it off whenever you want to. You can cancel it anytime. It's pretty easy. So yeah. Rebecca said, can you discuss overcoming spouse? I'm going to do 2 more questions, but this one says, can you discuss overcoming your spouse's objections? Sure. I would say this. If your spouse does not want to invest in real estate, try to understand why. It's probably a risk thing. They don't want to lose money, right? So you can overcome that with education. Your spouse is not afraid of you driving them to the store to get milk, right? Because they trust you on the road because you've got enough education with driving. So fill yourself with education. You can do that without their support. But do not invest without their support. I'd recommend that. You can learn all you want, right? Listen to podcasts, read books. Get passionate about it. Your passion will bleed over to them if you're passionate. Also, what's really helpful is to get them learning with you. You don't have to buy anything. Just say, hey, honey, can we listen to the Bigger Pockets podcast when we're driving on this road trip, right? That's how my wife got into real estate, is I had her listen to podcasts about real estate. Also, if you can encourage them to read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or the book on rental property investing, that'll help change their mindset as well. So that's a few things. All right, I'm going to do one more question. I know there's a ton of questions I did not get to. There's a ton of questions I didn't get to. And I want to say I'm sorry because there's a lot of people here today. This was a big webinar. And there's still 414 people here, which is awesome. If I did not get to your question, sorry, I lose my train of thought sometimes. Ask it in the forums. The BiggerPockets forums, there's so much good information there because there are thousands and thousands of people on the forums every day that are smarter, that are more experienced, that are better looking, that have better beards than I could ever hope to have. And so like the forums are like my second home. Like go over there and ask your question. You'll get tons of people, or just go to the forums and just in that little chat or over on the navigation bar on BiggerPockets, search for your question there, and you'll find tons of support there. So I do apologize if I did not get to your question, but that's that. That's funny. Eric said my wife is smiling. Eric's wife. I don't know your name, but you should totally invest in real estate because I said so. Let's see. I'm going to do one more. Ryan said, where did I get my Chewbacca poster? Amazon. I saw it inside of a Red Robin, actually, and I fell in love with the poster, and so I was like, I got to have that. Let's see. This is not the last question, but I'll answer it. Elizabeth said, where can I know more about mobile home parks? Where to begin? So we've done 3 episodes of the BiggerPockets podcast about mobile home parks. So search for it on BiggerPockets, and on the left side, choose podcast. Also, there's a podcast called the Mobile Home Park Investing Podcast. That's really, really good. I've learned almost everything I know from that podcast. It's fantastic. Let's see. Last question of the day. Oh, this is not the last question. Somebody asked about being my apprentice. Do you have to be in Washington? No. I'm looking for an apprentice to help with the mobile home park business. You can be anywhere in the country. It's really all digital stuff. It's about potentially talking to mobile home park owners, mailing them letters, direct mail marketing, analyzing deals, like that kind of thing. And you can do that from anywhere, really. So, all righty. Last question. I got to find a good one. There's a lot of good ones, but all right. I like this question. Look, this is not the last question. Nelson said, did you say we can sign up, get the refund within 30 days and keep all the free stuff? Yes, you can. And people do that sometimes. Like, it's a little weird, but go ahead. I'm such a big believer that if you use your pro membership, you're going to be successful. And if you don't use it, then we don't need you as a pro member. Like, we don't need your money. It's nice. Obviously we're growing BiggerPockets into a big company, but we don't need your money if you don't want to use it. So use your pro membership. If you find that after 29 days, you don't like it, cancel it. And you get your refund back, or, get a refund and keep all the cool stuff. So even if you just want to take advantage of me and get all the free stuff, you do that. I can't say I've never done that on some things, right? Like, remember the CDs you sign up for and you pay like 1 penny and you get all the CD, and then anyway, that was back in the day. Last question of the day. And Ben upgraded to pro. So, I'm going to actually talk about Ben's question, not just because he upgraded to pro, but I like this question and it applies to a lot of you people. Ben said, what are your thoughts on investing out of state, specifically with the BRRRR strategy, but how do you invest out of state? What if you live in San Francisco, New York, Seattle, Denver, or any other expensive market? How do you invest when your market is super expensive? Well, first of all, understand, I wrote a great blog post on it. You can go to BiggerPockets, search for how to invest in real estate when you live in an expensive market. You'll probably find it. But here's a couple options. Number one, there are people becoming millionaires through real estate investing in your market. Something works there. Some strategy works. Now, maybe my strategy doesn't work. Maybe Bill's strategy doesn't work, or Sally's, but there is a strategy that works. So find out what works in your market, or travel outside your market. And maybe that means 2 hours away. People who live in Seattle are complaining, I can't find any deals. I live like an hour and a half from Seattle, and I've got deals you can buy for $50,000. So don't tell me you can't drive 90 minutes in your car, listen to a couple episodes of the BiggerPockets podcast, or these webinars that I do, the replays. We put all those on audio as well. You can listen to them while you're driving as well, if you're a pro member. Just get in your car and drive 2 hours. Find a place to invest. or invest at a distance, like across the country. And a lot of people do that and they find success. If you want to do that, if you want to invest at a distance, start here and learn everything about that one strategy, how to invest in real estate at a distance until you're an expert at it. Don't do 50 things, become an expert at investing at a distance. In fact, one of my buddies, David Green, is writing a book on that very topic, 4 Bigger Pockets, how to invest at a distance. Now, you specifically asked for the BRRRR strategy. How do you BRRRR at a distance? I'm not gonna lie, that can be tough. Because rehabbing at a distance is very, very hard. Everybody I know that's done it says it's very, very hard. I've not ever rehabbed more than 30 minutes away from my house, but even like the investors that I know that are really smart, really, really successful, they struggle with it. It can be done. And here's how the people who I know who do it well do it. They partner with someone on the ground. So let's say I live in Washington State. Let's say I wanted to flip a house in Denver. Would I go do it on my own? Of course not. I would call up Anson Young, who's like one of my favorite people in the world, and he's a flipper and he lives in Denver. And I'd say, Anson, if I find us a good deal from here, will you work on it with me? Will you partner with me? I'll arrange all the financing. I'll work on finding the deal, but you manage the rehab from there. You know what Anson would say? Of course he will. Like, why wouldn't he do that? If I do all the hard work of finding the deal, and then he can just go and walk through the properties and then manage it. Of course. So that's what all the best investors are doing. That's what I would recommend. Find boots on the ground. You don't have to give them 50%. You could offer them less or more, whatever you want. But that's what I would do. So if you live in an expensive area, you've got 3 options. You can invest out of state, you can invest within a 2-hour drive, or you can find what works in your market. Or option 4, get on your couch. Dancing with the Stars starts in 20 minutes. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for coming to the Bigger Pockets webinar. I'll see you next week, hopefully, and have a great day. Bye, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll be around. Adios. Remember, the coupon code expires. It is 621, expires on Friday night at midnight. See you guys around. Thank you so much. Have a good night.